Hi,
Hey.
this is Joey from Gearheart, and you're listening to Mikey's Untitled Music Show.
Welcome to Mikey's Untitled Music Show, guys. Today we have Joey Chavez of Gearheart with us. He's here to promote his new album, Gearheart's new album, Face to Face. Their new single, I Don't Care, is out right now on Spotify and everywhere you can listen to it. Joey, how you doing today, bro?
Pretty good, Michael. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing good. We're alive, brother. We're alive, you know?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
alive and going. We're kicking. So Uh, one of the first questions I like to ask Joey is, um, if you can remember, one of the earliest times, or when did your creativity with music kind of get a little kickstart?
In high school, my senior year of high school, I would say actually, um, I really got into bands like Green Day and Blink and Weezer, and I saw them like, that's what I kind of want to do. So I grew up playing Rock Band and Guitar Hero,
Oh, hell yeah.
but and I always liked to write. Like it was like poetry, but it was almost more like I was writing songs without actually writing songs, just like words and lyrics and stuff,
Hmm.
like as a diary almost. I'm like, wait, I can do that. Power chords and put some music to it. That looks fun. Maybe girls will like me after that too, you know.
That's right.
But yeah, I started brewing in my senior year of high school.
What was the first instrument that you played?
So actually, I learned how to play saxophone in junior high school for band because I had to take an elective. So, but that came and went very quickly. That was It was 2 years, and I couldn't even play a note if you handed me a sax right now. But after that, I learned the guitar. I taught myself some chords.
When did the band first start?
We started in 2012, but it's a very different lineup. I'm the only guy that's from that lineup. We just
Okay.
kind of, and then I met Pedro 13. So it's been me and Pedro since 2013. And then Kevin, the drummer, has been around since 2014. And that's where I'd say we're really like officially started is 2014.
Hmm. So your first album, Kick It Into Gear, it came out
Yeah.
2015. That was
Yeah.
with the original band right now.
Yeah, Kevin on drums, Pedro on bass, and we had a different guitar player. It was my buddy named Kevin Beckers, who's no longer in the band. We have Austin now. Um, but yeah, overall it was pretty much the same DNA.
And it started out, I heard it more as like I feel like your music has kind of evolved a little bit as the years have gone by, listening to your different
Oh,
albums.
yeah, I would
Um,
definitely hope so too.
yeah, and you kind of started with punk. Well, it's kind of like a punk rock kind of vibe, that first album.
Yeah,
Re
there's
re
definitely more off tone punk vocals and stuff, and very angsty, I would say. I come off very pissed off when I listen to that album now.
what's it like making that first album, like you actually get in a room with a bunch of guys and you sit down and say, okay, we're not just gonna write one song, we're gonna we're gonna try to write a whole album. How does that process start?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of every first album. You write those songs for 5 years of your life or something. It's not,
Mhm.
oh, we have to write an album right now. It's just
Yeah.
they all naturally came. It was just us, we would jam in the garage every week, write a song. Sometimes we write a song in a day, sometimes two. We're like, oh, this one's good. We could put that on a record. That one's not so good. We'll leave it off. But yeah, that first album was always really special. It's definitely not our best work, but we were kids, and it
Yeah.
was an important stepping stone. You learn a lot. We learned a lot going into a studio. We've never been in a studio before, and is I still think back to that when we did this previous record, like stuff we learned, little mic tricks, techniques, all that. So
Hmm.
it's first album is school for bands.
Yeah, and like when you finally get into that studio, like what's the feeling you get like when you're walking in? Like I know, um, like I have brothers that used to be in a band, and when I first heard that, they were gonna be in the studio and making music, I was like, oh shit, like that's really cool, but
It
like what's that feeling like?
it's a mixture of excitement and nerves because it's like, oh man, I have to do this now. I'm paying by the hour. We can't just like chill in the garage for hours and get a good guitar take, gotta nail it
Yeah.
in two or three. So like that gets the excitement starts when you walk in, but once that freaking light turns on, man, it's very serious. You like don't breathe and you pray you don't fuck up.
And then, so you go from the Kick It Into Gear, and then your next album is Lobotomized in 2020. What was it kind of the sound change, the sound changed a little bit, you know? So um, what was the idea, or, you know, what was the track that guys were trying to get on when you're trying to make a new album? And I mean, I'm sure you're not trying to make it sound like the last one, but how do you get in there and say, okay, this is it like a theme, or is it, you know, a song came up and then, you know, kind of an album was born that way? Or how did that happen?
Yeah, well, in between the Kicking into Gear and Lobotomized, we had this album called Dreamin' that we put out real quick on Bright Records. So that was like a little bit of stepping stone into more of that like I'd say craftier songwriting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little bit of tinkling of ballads on that and stuff. So then going into Lobotomized after that, we had Austin on guitar now. Kevin Becker's left after Dreamin', and he brought a lot to the table because whereas like Pedro and I are pretty much just self-taught,
Mm-hmm.
uh Kevin Kevin a little bit on drums, but Austin Myers on guitar, he knows music theory, and I went to Berkeley School for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows how to play. And he where we were lacking in an extra push to be, I'd say, like more intricate, more interesting, he fit in there and really kind of like took charge on the guitar work for that to make it more sparkly, is a phrase I like to say on that.
Mm-hmm.
So like having that in our pocket when we started these songs, a lot of them developed before he came in, and like we had an idea of sorts. We were lacking a few songs, and then when he came on, he just put this polish on these guitars that was really cool. Because we're like, okay, we could do stuff like this now. Let's go back and refocus and maybe restructure some of these songs, make them like go bigger and better. Like let's throw some like cheesy guitar solo shredding in there and stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
let's try to go balls to the walls this time. So a lot of that came into play. That mentality with having Austin join us.
Who do you look on, or I guess when you first started, who'd you look on for inspiration, or even if like now you know you guys just have your new album coming out. Um, is there like a certain band or certain genre of music that kind of really resonated with you that you were just like, I need to do this kind of music?
Oh, dude, it's Green Day 100% for me.
Yeah,
I everything I do, I'm just trying to rip off of Billy Joe. So
bro. I
yeah.
saw them when we were young.
Oh,
This
nice.
this last one. Um, and then we watched him play. Green Day is like what it's System of a Down and Green Day. Those are my
Okay,
two.
nice. That's good.
Um,
You'd like our bass player Pedro a lot.
oh, okay,
Very
awesome, hell
similar
yeah,
taste.
yeah. So, those are like my two favorite like bands. My music's like all over the place, but if you were to tell me, okay, you can only pick two bands that you could listen to for the rest of your life, those two are definitely it.
Okay. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. And what was it with Green Day that, you know, kind of pushed you for that?
It's just the rawness of those early albums for sure. It's just a guy belting out his feelings and playing power chords. To me, you can't get any better than that. Like it's just that simplicity, but it's so catchy, you know?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And yeah, they played this last one we saw them at Petco. They
We were
played.
there. You were there?
Oh, really? You were
We
there?
all went to that show. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We're
hell yeah,
over,
dude.
I think we're on like the first base side of the stadium.
Oh, okay. Where were we? I think we were kind of behind home plate, but not like
Okay.
we were like in the, I think it was the either the 100 or the 200. It was pretty close. It wasn't like super far. It was pretty close.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that was a great show. Like
oh,
we
hell
were
yeah.
we were shocked by how much we love the Pumpkins too. So I
Oh
was
hell
just
yeah.
like, I love their hits, but I never like
Uh-huh.
really got into them. But they're so fucking heavy. It was such a good set. Like
Yeah, and they
one of the best
sounded
concerts I've ever been to.
oh hell yeah. I totally agree. Um the Smashing Pumpkins just sounded they just sounded amazing. And yeah, I've
Yeah.
never listened to them live and Billy Corgan's just his voice that raw like
Yeah, it was
hype.
great. It was so good.
It was so good. And
And
Dookie and American Idiot are my two favorite albums from Green
okay.
Day. So and
Oh,
I remember yeah, I remember listening to Dookie on the tape back in the day. I found it
oh
at
wow,
a
tape. Wow.
yeah, on the cassette tape. I found it on I was probably like I don't know if I found it or if somebody bought it. I think I might have just found it. It said Green Day and then I put Dookie on and I was just like, "Oh, cool. This music is cool, you know?"
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, dude, it's just it was kind of a um like that was one of my dream shows for sure, definitely.
Definitely same. Rancid was great. The Linda Lindas were great too. I've never
Oh, hell
seen them
yeah.
before either.
Yeah, they played a we've actually watched them a lot because they've been like kind of opening for a lot of bands at like Petco like around here in Southern
Okay,
California.
nice.
So I didn't know they were so young though. They're
Yeah,
like
they're I think late 20s, maybe even mid 20s it looked like.
yeah, it's
But they
crazy.
were they were rocking. They were kicking
Oh
ass.
yeah, hell yeah. It was really good. Um, what's it? How many? I mean, in your bio it says that you guys have you guys played a lot of shows like live?
Oh
Well,
yeah. We've we've been in the bar circuit for a good while, playing like 4 hours a night.
oh shit.
And yeah, we have a show. Back in the day, we were really pounding it. Now we have to have day jobs and stuff too, so we don't play as
Yeah.
much. But we still average two or three,
I'm sorry.
like oh,
You still average how many?
about two or three a month.
Oh, okay. Shit,
Yeah.
that's really good. How does it feel when you get up there, bro? Oh, I mean, how did it feel the first time? How did it feel the first time you got up and yeah, maybe not a I mean, yeah, even like garage show or however, what was it like that first time you went up and there were people in a little crowd like in front of you, and just they're here to listen to you.
Oh
How
yeah, I
was
was
that?
nervous as shit. I grew up being the shy guy in the class. I didn't want to be the front man of the band. It just kind of it happened by accident. I wanted to be the guy with the head down, playing guitar in the back, if anything. So
Yeah.
I was nervous as hell for like the
Uh,
first almost year of shows, just trying to work up my or melt away my shell of shyness, try to like be a front man of some sort. And the worst part was our first show was with like all of my family and friends. Like, oh, if I fuck up, I have to see these people still. So it was like really nerve wracking.
yeah.
But eventually, I don't know. I found joy in it.
How does how does music help you with like your relationships? I know for me, music it's one of the reasons I'm one of the big reasons actually that I'm with my wife right now because
That's great.
um
Yeah.
yeah like because we share the same band like I we it's funny we were talking and you know we were getting to know each other and stuff like that and then she said we were talking about favorite bands and she said System of a Down and we played System of a Down and I was like I'm sure there's many people out there or many girls or women out there that love System of a Down but it's just from our conversation leading up and then it just hit that and kind of for me in the back of my mind I was like you're mine that's it you know what I
Yeah.
mean
The one for you.
um, she's the one for me how has that played how has the music played an impact in your life with that
Oh, well, speaking of uh that, our music taste probably differs a little bit. She really likes Disney and show tunes and Broadway stuff. But my wife's brother is kind of a band that took us under their wing when we were first starting out playing in Huntington Beach.
nice
And so we'd play shows together all the time. And so I got to meet her because she would pick him up after the show.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, eventually we got married, stuff clicked. We like, and it's all through music. So I'd say music definitely has really shaped all my relationships. My best friends too, Pedro, Kevin, and Austin. Like I grew up knowing Kevin and Pedro in high school, but I wouldn't say we're super close friends. We didn't hang out or anything
Hmm.
until we were in the band
And
together.
together.
And Austin, we wouldn't have even met if I didn't start this band. He went to a totally different school. And because of this band, I have a wife and some of the best friends I have in my life, and satellite friends, friends of others that have become a big part of my life that showed up at a show or something. In fact, I'd say my whole circle of friends is dependent on this band being a band,
Yeah.
which is,
Um,
I think, awesome.
no, yeah, definitely. Like it's what keeps you guys together, right? Keeps you guys'
Yeah.
relationships together, keeps you guys with each other, right? Everybody needs that um just somebody to talk to, you know what I mean? Even
Oh,
if it's
yeah,
just
for
like
sure.
in your band or, a couple of friends, everybody needs that person. So if there's something that can that's why I love music, bro. Like because I love going to a concert and everybody's there for the same thing, right? Everybody's
Yeah.
there to hang out, to enjoy the music. And I mean, it's funny, like now that I go to like these punk, like pop punk and emo shows, because that was my shit growing up
Uh-huh.
in high school and shit. So it's funny going to the shows and before like when I first started going, I was probably my first real concert was Warped Tour 2020.
Oh, nice.
So like then we just started I've been to like 40 different shows, bro. Like we just we love it. We love going out to live music. I grew up with live music in the
Yeah.
church.
It's therapeutic, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And it's funny because some people will start getting rowdy or some people will maybe start like a little mosh pit.
Yeah.
And in the mosh pit, everybody's kind of like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
like dancing around now or we're older now, bro.
Oh, trust me, I know. Yeah. I feel it.
Um, can you just tell me about a time when like music, profoundly like affected you? Like for me, when I first listened to The Doors.
Okay.
A friend had put it on, and she was like, "Hey, have you ever listened to The Doors?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, Light My Fire." And she was like, "No, no, no, no. That's you need to listen to The Doors." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." And so she puts on the song "The Spy" for me, and that song just blew my mind away. Then that song got me to like more classical music, like more Led Zeppelin, more like Simon and Garfunkel. I'd always listen to Motown, but more like Hall and Oates and those kinds of bands.
Oh,
They
yeah,
like
very eclectic.
it took me to an unknown space where I thought, you know, I'm gonna start discovering music now because it was always given to me. Is there like a song or like a time where you like that just changed my life?
Yeah, I'd say yeah, growing up, you just hear stuff on the radio or whatever your parents are playing. So I did grow up with like Queen and the Stones and stuff from my
Yeah.
parents and Elton
Hmm.
John. But like in middle school, I want to say it was either seventh or eighth grade. Um, I took the dive. I wanted to learn about the Beatles, because they're such a big band. And I did the Beatles deep dive, and that just like whoa, like there's a reason they're considered the best band in the world. Um,
Yeah.
like I get it. It's more than just please, please me or I want to hold your hand and stuff. Especially when you get to like the Abbey Road era, like that those last few years, it's just um changes your perspective on songwriting and bands and music and everything. And like there's a reason they're number one. So I definitely like yeah, exploring the Beatles catalog for me is probably the big game changer.
Oh yeah, I took a like with the Doors that also led me to the Beatles. More than just, like Let It Be or
Hmm.
like those popular songs. It took me to like Helter Skelter. It took me to Eleanor Rigby,
Yeah, yeah.
A Day in the Life. Like all those different songs that you don't really like.
You
Eleanor
don't hear on
Rigby
the
was
radio that much, but
yeah.
they're
Eleanor Rigby was
big
that
songs though.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that just that also like when I heard that song, I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like you could make music like this.
Yeah, dude. Pop songs of all songs
Yeah.
too, with all those violins and everything.
Yeah, and like you said, like there's a reason they're number one, and you trip out and like you kind of put yourself in that era, right?
Hmm.
Like now, especially like these younger kids, like I mean, I'm sure if they make that deep dive like we did, they would get into it as well, but you know, um, they don't really like you don't really know it until you actually like
You gotta
get in.
find it for yourself. That's the thing. Like people can throw stuff in your face on TikTok and Instagram and all that, but you find that kind of shit on your own. It'll happen differently for everybody else, but you're not gonna just like some people might hear about the Beatles now on TikTok, which is kind of weird thought, but you're
Mhm.
not gonna you're not gonna get the deep cuts of the Doors and the Beatles and experience it without going in and streaming the record or buying the record or whatever yourself.
Yeah.
It's something you got to do on your own.
When you first start forming the band as it is today, other than your guitarist, of course, um, what is it about these like these other people that like you wanted them to be in your band? Was it just, oh, these are a couple of my friends, we all just started playing instruments, or is it like, okay, I want to start a band, like where can I look?
Yeah, well, it started out with friends. Kevin Beckers was my childhood friend, and then Pedro and Kevin I knew from high school, and Kevin and actually knew from middle school, and I knew he could drum. Pedro offered to play bass. We had no bass player. It's like, ah, hell yeah, he's a cool guy. Hang out more. And so I just kind of I wasn't looking for anyone specific. I was just looking for people who wanted to play and hang out. And
Mm.
they we found each other, you know. Same thing
Yeah.
with Austin too. He just wanted to play music and we gelled. You learn pretty quickly who you gel with, especially playing songs together.
Um, you were talking about you played the saxophone earlier in your single "Want to Be There for You." There's
Oh
like
yeah.
there's a sax.
There's a
Is that
sax
saxophone?
solo.
It's a
Yeah, there is
sax
a
solo,
sax
right
solo.
at
We
the
wanted to
end.
have a sax solo. It's a buddy of Kevin's, the drummer, and he played sax on that. We just let him rip. It was
And
fun to see.
he was
I couldn't
ripping, bro.
attempt it though, but we just wanted to have something a little different because it had that poppy like ska vibe to it a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah, definitely.
we
And
got
that's what
songs with
I
guitar solos.
like. That's what I love about these like different bands, right? Like not everybody's just gonna be rock, or not everybody's just gonna be like pop or something.
Yeah,
Like I really love when artists kind of mix up their genres.
it's fun, and you don't want to let things get stale too. I feel you want to switch things up, like keep it interesting for your listeners and for yourself too. I don't want to
Mhm.
play moody rock music the rest of my life. Like I want to have songs once in a while.
Uh-huh.
It's fun to switch it up a little bit, jump
Yeah.
around.
So you have this new album, Face to Face, that's come out with the new single, I Don't Care. I really love that song. That's the song that caught me
Yeah,
on Instagram, and it made me want to, reach out to you guys. What's it like coming into the studio after a few years, like a little hiatus? I mean, I guess not a hiatus as a band, but like in the studio, right? Your last
yeah,
album was 2020. So what's it like getting back in there and finishing the album or even starting the album?
yeah. Well, starting was a bit of a predicament because we had a little bit of a pandemic on our hands.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right after we did so all we could really do was we just kind of we played the game and stayed apart for a few months, and But eventually we started getting a little cocky and started meeting up together, open the door in the garage and start jamming or something. So we started working on a lot of these songs like just a few weeks after we released Lobotomize at the end of 2020.
Hmm.
And it we really just we were still playing once everything came back, like in 21, we started playing live shows again that summer. But yeah, kind of we didn't rush into finishing anything real quick studio wise. We want to really take our time. We tested a bunch of these songs like live with our fans and stuff for a few
Oh,
years
nice.
to see like yeah, we've been playing I Don't Care for like almost 3 years now.
Mm, okay.
Um and some of these other songs like Falling Down and Celebrity. And so it was cool to see the live. We kind of cheated and got to see the live test a little bit,
Yeah, hell
get the
yeah, that's
reactions.
awesome.
But yeah, we did this in my garage actually, so we could like how talking about earlier being nervous in the studio because we're like paying by the hour.
Hmm.
We would have blown thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars if we were paying by the hour. The amount of time it took to make this album, so it was a nice luxury to be able to take our sweet ass time in my
Yeah.
garage, make sure everything's right. And we did the A/B and test. It sounds better than some of our stuff in the studio we paid for. So like, what the fuck? Why aren't we doing this all the time?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was a long process. But it was is I wouldn't say labor of love. We loved it. It was just it was the album we've been wanting to make a long time. So we really took the time to do it and didn't want to settle for anything.
Now that it's gonna be out, um, like what like your other albums, how does it feel? What's the, like one of the first, I'm sure, nervous or scared, but like what's something else that you feel that, when you first bring out your album, are you kind of like, oh, if it doesn't get this many listens in this long, I'm kind of like stressing out about it, or is it just kind of like, we put our shit out there and if whoever listens to it, they listen to it.
Yeah, it's more the latter, I'd say. It's what we make songs we want to hear, and if other people like it, that's awesome. But at least I get to listen to it. And
Hmm.
like we do have it's small but dedicated fan base nowadays. And like they're all ecstatic for it. So if the album only reaches 100 people, like that's cool. I didn't think I'd have an album that could reach 100 people in high school.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. And if it goes more, hell yeah. But it's just we like to make music to make music and express ourselves and say something, and then if other people like it, that's good. We did our job.
Um, Last question that I usually like to give is what is your message? What is Gearhart's message to the world with their music?
Well, there's a lot of things. You're not alone. You always have friends and family to reach out to, and a brotherly bond can go a long way. Anyone can do it. Try to follow your dreams. It's doable. Not everyone's going to be an A-lister selling out stadiums, but there's more than just black and white, man. There's a lot of different tiers in between, and we're proof of that. I would say. I feel if you told me what I was doing right now in high school, I'd say, you're full of shit. You're not getting paid to play music. You're not having 4 albums and making money off of them. Like it's
Yeah,
a it seems like a dream, but it's for me, it's a reality. You can do it if you put your heart and soul to it and try. It's not going to happen overnight. This is 10 years now. We're finally starting to see some success. It's um it's about how much you put into it and you keep putting into it. I think that should be the message we send. Just keep trying. Don't give up.
that's beautiful. Um, well, thank you so much, Joey, for joining us
Of
on in,
course.
in
Thank
this
you for having
interview.
me, man. This is a
I,
pleasure.
thank you. I really appreciate that. What I really want out of this show, I mean, I'm gonna say it a million times, but what I really want out of this show is, I want to be the guy that people get their music from.
Yeah.
or people not get their music from, but find their music from, right? Um, like if this gets if this gets bigger, it gets bigger, that'd be awesome, you know? But one thing I love to do is I love to watch mu movies and I love to listen to music.
Hmm.
Those two things are like this for me, you know, that it's not one or the other. It's those two things, you know. So, you know, I picked music. It's one of my loves. It's I have music in my head like all the time. If I'm kind of like in a deep thought and somebody asks me, "Hey, what's wrong?" Sometimes I feel weird just saying, "No, I'm just listening to music," kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm just
uh,
listening to a song in my head,
Playing System of a Down in my head. Sorry.
playing System of a Down in my head. I can't hear you. Sorry, dude. But yeah, it's you know, I and music brings everybody together, and everybody needs like a helping hand, right? And
Yeah.
why not be that helping hand? And you know, why not try to spread the music, right? Because
Yeah.
spreading music is like kind of like spreading love, man.
No, that's great. And that's where like disc jockeys back in the day were important because they'd play stuff that you wouldn't hear,
Yeah,
um, that the label wasn't pushing or something. They'd play the deep cuts, the Doors deep cuts, and stuff
yeah,
like that. So what you're doing in a sense is similar, So I hope it takes off for you, man. Hope your following grows and you lead people to discovering the deeper stuff, like how we did the
yeah,
Beatles or you the Doors and stuff.
yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. I hope it does as well.
Yeah, and
And
I hope they discover our band too from this. So
yeah, yeah, like that, and that's what it's really all about, you know. It's me having a platform where I don't have to, I'm not selling anybody anything. I'm not begging anybody to be on the show.
yeah,
You know, but like if I'm scrolling to Instagram, you know, that's my big thing is just it's Instagram right now. And if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I like your shit or I like your stuff, sorry, I'm gonna reach out. You know, like I don't reach out to everybody. It's just if my ears hear it and you know and they like it, that's what I kind of tell people when they ask me what kind of music do you like. Like honestly, if my ears like it, I'll listen to it, you know. So
yeah.
I would love to be I would love to be that guy. But did you want to do you have anything else coming out other than face to face that or any shows, upcoming shows?
Oh yeah, right now it's face to face working on some shows, an album release party, but just the dates and the venues we're looking at where we couldn't line up for anything. So
Mm.
what we're gonna do more probably in like March and April is like we're shows like special event shows where we're gonna play the album front to back, which I think will be really cool. Um, so we're looking at places like Wayfair and um, maybe some places in LA too. I think we're close to locking in the Wayfair for that though in Costa Mesa.
Oh, nice. Fuck yeah.
And if things go according to plan, we'll be going out on tour in May up to Seattle, and then in August we're gonna head down to your way to San Diego, and then move on up to like Nevada and Arizona and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah. Let me know, dude.
Yeah,
I'll be there. I'll
for
definitely
sure.
be
We'll,
there.
we'll definitely hit you up.
Well, thank you again, Joey. Joey from the band Gearheart. Again, new album Face to Face out now. New single I Don't Care. Listen to it on Spotify. It's a great it's a great song. It's a great sound. Gearheart, thank you so much for joining us. Like we say all the time, guys, remember be safe and be great. We share because we care. Peace.
Thank you, Michael. Hope to see you guys at a show.